This is meteorologist Mike Seidel. We are getting battered here in Fort Pierce, Florida. We're on the Treasure Coast. We're about 45 miles north of Palm Beach. I should say Juno Beach, and then about an hour or so north of Palm Beach. Winds have already gusted upwards of 55 miles an hour, and the rain coming in horizontal sheets. The wind is northerly right now because the center of Matthew is going past our latitude, so we're getting on the backside. Down the coast in Broward and Miami-Dade counties, the winds are blowing offshore. In fact, in Broward County, they've lowered the hurricane warning to a tropical storm warning, and the weather will be much improved tomorrow. I should say later today, Friday, and the airports will be opening back up to check with their air carrier. As far as the path of Matthew, it's heading up the coast, inline Daytona Beach, the Space Coast, also up into Georgia and the Carolinas, South Carolina, both under states of emergency, even North Carolina too. And in Jacksonville, the concern about not only surge, but inland flooding. So the problem there is getting off the beaches. In fact, our very own Paul Goodlow had to do that. They've headed for higher ground and are relocating overnight tonight.
I'm following this report because we have to evacuate our location here in Jacksonville Beach of Florida. In Jacksonville Beach, temporarily, I'm meteorologist Paul Goodlow. Back to you.
Okay, we've got Paul Goodlow and Stephanie Abrams will be with us starting at 5 a.m. Eastern from Jacksonville. Meanwhile, back here, boy, it's whipping up. Winds gusting over 50 miles an hour, plenty of rainfall, and the power outages continuing to increase. 164,000, I believe. Is that correct? Okay, 142. Do I hear 142? 142,000. Sorry about that. Sometimes, you know, at this age, at this time of the night, 142,000 customers without power in the state of Florida. That number continues to increase almost exponentially. Just a couple of hours ago, we came on the air at 9 Eastern, so a few hours ago, it was only at about 15,000. So we're up about, that's a factor of about almost 10 in the past 3 hours. It will continue to go up. And as we heard from the power company spokesman, they cannot go out and put poles up or get up in bucket trucks and get your power back on until the winds drop back below about 30, 35 miles an hour. And down in Palm Beach County, where we've had most of the outages as far as any other county, they've had the most. The winds down there are still gusting pretty strong. Although right now, Ron Blom is getting a break. He is getting a break down in Juno, Florida, which is north of Palm Beach. Meanwhile, Ron, we're getting just hammered right here right now. Ron?
Yeah, you know, Mike, I think what's been happening is that eye wall expansion took place after the eye passed our parallel course going north. Surge to deal with. So back to you, Mike, up there in Fort Pierce.
Okay, Ron Blom there at Juno Beach, and we're about 45 miles north. You can see how the wind is just whipping right now. We're getting gusts up over 50 miles an hour, and the thing that's changed is the consistency. You know, earlier this evening, you get occasional gusts 30, 35. Now it's just whipping. It's not howling. We don't get that howling sound right now. And, you know, when you're buildings, you go from howling to shrieking when it's really blowing. But I don't think we're going to get into the shrieking category tonight with this. Right now, let's go to the radar. You can see the band is rotating in here to St. Lucie County, also Indian River County down to Palm Beach County. Right now, we're in the thick of it. But again, off the coast, you can see the inner eye wall, the outer eye wall, and that inner eye wall, that is not going to impact us here in Fort Pierce because the storm now, the hurricane is right at our latitude, and that's one of the reasons the winds are now not northeasterly, but northerly, and that's not going to pile the water up substantially by far. It's going to be more of a longshore push of the water from north to south. Wind and rain here, whipping through the hotels. Now, we've had the power flash off twice for about a half a second. You know, when it goes off, you're like, oh, and then it came back on. So we've had 2 power flashes. And looking in the distance towards Interstate 95 and off towards town, there's a lot of light on the horizon. So right now, we're looking pretty good. I mean, we're looking okay. I shouldn't say good, but the power is hanging in there here in the Fort Pierce area in St. Lucie County. But you can get a sense of how this wind is just raking us here in Central Florida. And this is what's heading up the coast. Those of you in Savannah and Jekyll and St. Simons, and up towards Foley and Charleston. You're all under hurricane warnings. In fact, the hurricane warning was extended north to include Charleston at 5 o'clock, and with good reason. Although, all indications are that as Matthew gets up towards the South Carolina coast by tomorrow night and Saturday, it is going to be a weaker hurricane. It's not going to be a Cat 4 right now at 130 miles an hour. Time now to bring in Michael Lowry, I believe, and he's certainly okay. First, let's first go to Jay Gray. Mike will be on top in tap in a minute. Just saw the light flash again. Jay Gray's Daytona Beach. You've seen some flashes. You've also noticed that nobody's out tonight, which is good for good reason. And Jay, what's your plan tonight as far as how long you're going to stay on up there at Daytona?
Hey, Mike, we think we're in a pretty good position here, so we think we'll be able to carry this through the storm. We took as well, Mike.
Okay, Jay Gray just had another power flash here, and it's back on. It's like boom, boom. That's the third one when you get a gust of wind. But hanging tight, and again, looking out across the horizon out towards 95. No change here. Let's try to keep the power on as much as we can for most of you in Florida, but already now nearly 150,000 customers have lost power, most of those off to the south down towards Palm Beach County. Michael Lowry in now for the overnight hours, watching what is a very unique situation. A hurricane of major status taking aim at an area that rarely sees anything like this. You know, South Florida is one thing, but when you get up north of the Palm Beaches and up into this area and up towards the Space Coast and First Coast, up towards Jacksonville, Michael, this is one that we don't have what we call a record of. And so it's hard to look back and say, okay, it did this, it did this, it did this. And tonight, earlier, Michael, Brian and I were, we're looking at the eye wall, and it wasn't a typical eye wall replacement cycle.
No, it's not, Mike. Look, these are all excellent points that you make.
I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel in Fort Pierce, Florida, and those power outage numbers are increasing, and I can tell you why, because right here we are now in the dark. Look at this. There is no light anywhere. The only light I see is in the vehicle, the light on me, and the light, I don't even see that one. No, that's over there. Jim Cantoria, Storm Tracker, will join us here at 1 a.m. Eastern. Michael Lowry is here, and he's unveiling an updated storm surge map for Northeast Florida, where it could be catastrophic. Michael?
Yeah, Mike, it's hard to really overstate the potential threat here from storm surge as we move up the coast. Mike, back over to you.
Okay, Michael Lowry, thanks for the update. The rain, the wind continues here. The power has gone out here in this part of Fort Pierce. Not surprising now. We're over 150,000 customers in Florida, according to Florida Power. That number is going to go up. It's increased by a factor of 10 in the past 4 hours. And with these winds increasing too, with gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour, usually 60 miles an hour is the threshold for starting to see power outages, and we've seen plenty of those, especially down in Palm Beach County. The only thing we can say right now here in St. Lucie County and Point South is Matthew is at our same latitude, and it's moving northwest. So virtually impossible now for it to come right in at us because it is moving northwest, and it's been doing that for several days. Let's get you updated at the top of the hour in about a half a minute or so. Jim Cantoria, Storm Tracker, joins us as we get into the 1 a.m. hour on the East Coast. Hurricane Matthew will be around for several more days, heading towards Jacksonville, Savannah, and Charleston Friday night and Saturday. We'll be right back after a break here with continuing coverage. Stay with us.